I will be participating in the Disney College Program at Walt Disney World this fall. Tomorrowland! We're celebrating. Hello, it's Annika, and this is the first video of my little Disney Q&A kind of series regarding the Disney College Program, professional internships, and a professional career with Disney. A few little disclaimers. I do currently work for the company, but all thoughts and opinions are my own, and I don't work in HR, so I can't help you get a job, unfortunately. I'm basically just making these videos just to talk about my personal experiences and kind of what I've seen work, and to help anybody out there who is looking for some good advice, I guess. I think it's good advice. Let's hope it's good advice. Unfortunately, I am aware that the Disney College Program and professional internship participants were all sent home due to COVID-19, and I believe the next program that's coming in fall of 2020, I believe that was canceled. I think I read that. Fact check me though. So no, I do not know when the actual next program will be available, but I'm sure that there is going to be in the future. Like, I don't know when. Don't hold me accountable for that. I don't know anything about that. I don't know any secrets. So just so we're clear on that. I wanted to do these videos though because they were highly requested on my Instagram when I was answering some questions on my Instagram story, and a lot of people wanted to know about the DCP internships, what's available, what my role is, what my experience is, and it's kind of a lot to go over if you like actually want advice, because everyone is like, well, how do I get a job with Disney? And I'm like, well, you apply. That's kind of the first step. But instead of kind of me typing it all out in just like this weird paragraph form on my story, I thought I'd make a whole video on it. So like I said, this is part one, meaning I will be covering the Disney College Program only in this video, and the other two videos I'm going to be covering the professional internship and the professional career, and kind of like how I managed to get this role and be where I am now. So if you're watching this video, you probably already know what the Disney College Program is, aka the DCP, or becoming a CP. So I'll give you a little bit of background on what kind of my personal experiences have been with the Disney with the DCP, and then I'll get right into your questions. So let's hop into the DCP. Okay, I can't do the whole video with the ears on, so we're not gonna do that. But all right, so let's dive into Disney College Program. Wow, what a great 30 days that was for me. Yeah, okay, kind of a disclaimer. I did do the DCP, kind of. I started it and I was merchandised in Tomorrowland in Magic Kingdom, and it was great, but unfortunately I had like a ton of health things happening, and I think I've talked about this in like a ton of other videos on my channel. They are kind of old now, but anyway, I got really super sick. I was hospitalized for 9 days in total, so that kind of put a damper on my DCP. But I had a self-term from my college program, and that was not the plan at all. Like, I loved working and I didn't want to leave my Disney College Program, but I was forced to. But I did take, I think, 2 classes, and I think one of them was like a seminar, or it was like 1 class and 1 seminar. They like change it up every time. But I did enjoy about like a month and a half of that. And obviously I went through the entire application process, which is really like what the nitty-gritty about this video is. So here we go. I noted down some questions that you asked me on my Instagram stories. How to make your resume stand out. So you've probably seen a ton of videos on like what the process is. For the DCP, making your resume stand out is not as difficult, I would say, if compared to, let's say, like a corporate job. So for the DCP, you don't really need a whole lot of experience. You're obviously a college student, so they're not expecting you to be like a master of starting a roller coaster. Like, no. I would just say put literally anything that is relevant, and this kind of goes for any job you're applying for. You want to put your relevant job experience, and if you've never really had a job before, then I would put any volunteer experience, any kind of tutoring. Maybe you did like a side hustle and you worked for free, you did babysitting, anything that you can think of, put it on there, and put details, but making it kind of concise. So let's say you really want to be a lifeguard for Disney. Put down your swim experience, if you were on swim team, if you've lifeguarded before, all of that good stuff. If you want to be a character performer, maybe put down like theater and things like that, but I know you have to go through an audition to be a character performer and all of that. So, but the biggest resume tips that I can give you are make it one page, make it relevant, make it using keywords, because every resume pretty much ever in the history of resumes from this point on goes through a computer first. It doesn't go right to a human. So you want to make sure you're matching your keywords to the job description. If the job description says you must have done this, well, then you better have that on your resume saying, I have done this for this many years and I'm this proficient in it, kind of thing. And for the Disney College program, again, they don't require like any experience. You just have to have kind of a passion for the company and a good work ethic and show off your bubbly and customer service worthy magical personality on your phone interview. Okay, next question, can you do the DCP after you graduate? Yes, you can, and that's actually the route that I took. I didn't want to do the DC college program kind of earlier in my college career because I didn't want to have to go back to school. Like, I knew that taking a break would just kind of like mess me up. I wanted to just kind of get my degree like out of the way, and then once my CP ended, I could go right into applying to jobs at Disney and not have to go back to school. Next question, is it common to attend for 1 year? So kind of an interesting question, because the way the Disney College program is set up between Advantage or just like a normal length between fall and spring, I think the Advantage is like 6 to 9 months, and then you can choose to extend to a full year. You unfortunately can't go past 1 year, so 1 year is like the max you can do consecutively being an intern or CP for Disney. That's like the max. So if you choose to do that, just know that you can't do any other internships or be a CP past that point. Is it common? I would say yes. A lot of people extend, or people will wait and see what role they got, because you can potentially get a different role or like apply for a transfer when you do apply for an extension within the company. So if you are attractions and you're applying for an extension, you could potentially be extended to a merchandise role in a completely different location. So a lot of people will look at that, and if they really don't want to be food and beverage and then they get the food and beverage extension, and they won't take it. So just depends on what you mean by common. So next question, how hard is it to get into the program? Kind of going off of what I was saying before, I would say it's easier than getting into like actual college. Not to say that like Disney doesn't offer kind of interesting college courses on that side, but I would say you don't need the whole SAT score, ACT thing, straight A's, all of that good stuff. And you don't have to be president of every club to get in. So do with that information what you want. And it's just kind of like applying for any other job. It is kind of competitive. I do know that the Disneyland program is more competitive than Disney World's program, because Disneyland has a much smaller program. Obviously, there's only 2 parks, and it's just a lot smaller than Disney World. So I know for that reason, Disneyland can be more competitive just because there's fewer spots. And I know Disney World has a lot more room for all of its participants. Next question, does Disney provide housing? So yes, if you're doing the college program, you can opt in to receive housing. I think it honestly might have been mandatory. I think it was. But yes, Disney does provide housing that you pay for. So it is subsidized, but you don't get to leave there for free. And now keep in mind, you're making minimum wage. So the different housing options have different costs because they do vary. Again, I don't know what it's gonna be like for the new housing and all of that. I have heard rumors, don't hold me to this, I actually don't know this for a fact, that it'll be like $800 a month or something, or it's like per week, $200 a week. Do the math. If you're making minimum wage and you have to pay $200 a week for your rent, is that something that you're gonna be up for? So keep that in mind. Next question, how important is the DCP regarding moving up in corporate? So this is kind of an interesting one, because it could go both ways. It could be super important, or it could be completely irrelevant and not important at all. So what I mean by that is it could be important in that you could make connections while you're on your CP. I mean, maybe they know someone who can just get you like a coffee meetup with someone who is doing what you would want to be doing in the future maybe, and you can kind of pick their brain and things like that. There isn't like a sketchy, oh, if you know this person, you can just like get a job from them like that. I have not heard that happening. That did not happen to me. We play safe and fair over here. On the flip side, I do know many people, pretty much everyone I work with, aside from like a few, have never done the Disney College program. So it's not required. It's not like you're not looked down upon if you haven't done a CP. But I think for kind of my internship, having had that experience with the company and understanding company culture already up to that point was a plus. Like, I wouldn't say it landed me the job, but I mean, it was just kind of a plus for something for us to talk about in my interview. And I go a little bit more in detail about that in my next video regarding the professional internship in part 2. Next question, when is the best time to do the DCP? So when I first read this, I kind of thought like time of year, but I realized it could also mean kind of like best time in maybe your college career to do the program. So first part, time of year, I would definitely recommend Fall Advantage because, and that's what I did apply for before I left, but you do get to experience like kind of both holiday seasons. You get Halloween and Christmas and New Year's, which can be a good thing but can also be a bad thing because as a CP, you're generally first on the schedule for holidays. So if you're the type of person that doesn't mind not going home for Christmas and New Year's, or if you don't mind working overtime on Halloween night, then that could be great. And honestly, it could be fun, and people do randomly get those days off. So I mean, that's kind of a wide array of options that you have there, but it is really fun to just kind of experience the parks in that time of year. And not to mention the weather. Florida summers are no joke, and heat waves can go all the way to like mid-November / in December. I'm pretty sure I still wore shorts here, so at least in Florida. In California, I would say you're good either way because California weather is perfecto. I miss you, California. But then second part of that question, I prefer to do the college program once I graduated college because I'm kind of at that, or I was at that point where I'm like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. Let me go run away to work for the mouse and sell my soul to Disney, which is kind of what happened. But when you do that, keep in mind, it's a gamble because if you don't get the job, if you don't get the CP, then what? Like, that was kind of your last chance to be eligible to apply. And my whole thought process in doing that was I wanted to get a professional internship with Disney and I wanted to work for Disney. So I waited to do my CP. I applied, got in, went, would have completed it, but beside the point. But because I did do that CP, and after my whole health fiasco around kind of like September-y, October, November time, I started applying to professional internships. If I hadn't gotten a professional internship in that time frame, I believe I would no longer be eligible to apply to any internships. So it's kind of like shot in the dark. If you don't get it, like, that's it. That's your one chance. So keep that in mind. And the last question I got for the CP was, what kinds of jobs? So I quickly ran through a couple. From the top of my head, I can remember attractions, merchandise, quick service, food and beverage, janitorial staff. Why am I forgetting like another name for them? There's like Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, there's lifeguarding, character performer, character attendant, and then the rest of them are kind of escaping me, but I think there are a few more. But if you do just go on like the Disney careers page when you're applying to a CP, I believe it lists like every single role. So I would definitely do some research there. So those are all the questions that I received on my Instagram story. I realized I didn't talk too much kind of about my actual experience with the CP. If you want me to do a video on that, on kind of my merchandise role living in Vista Way and my experience, brief experience with the classes, I can totally do another video on that if you are interested in. But I think I've blabbed long enough in this video. But if you want more stories, let me know in the comments down below. And don't forget to check out my next 2 videos in this kind of 3-part series of my Disney career, professional internships, and my professional career. So there you have it. That's kind of my personal story, a little brief version of it, and all the questions that I did get on my Instagram story. If you do have more, you can go ahead and leave me some in the comments down below. And you can also follow me on Instagram. I have 2 Instagram accounts, personal one at Annika Hudak and a kind of Disney artsy one at Annika's_paintbrush. If you found this video helpful and you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe for more videos. Have a magical day!